Hey guys, back. Let's go ahead and look at this lesson. Um, we haven't done much science, so I think we need to focus on science for a little bit. And today I will be looking at 5.9a and 3.9a ecosystems living and surviving. So let's go ahead and go to that lesson. I will watch the video. So let's go ahead and watch the video. I think it's a good idea to get a notepad, something to write on, to take notes. And let's go ahead and see what this video is all about.
Live, survive, and interact with different factors in their ecosystem. Ecosystems are made up of all of the living and non-living things in a specific area.
Okay, let's go and write that in here. Let's see. Education, show me. Let's go ahead and create. Right, create. Okay, let's start taking down some notes. Okay, the title is Ecosystems. And the definition for ecosystems is living and non-living components. Living and non-living things. Let's just use the word things. Okay. The fancy word for living is biotic. Now I know we've done this before, but I guess it's good to go back and review. Non-living is abiotic. Only difference is it has the A. The A in here is a prefix. It's typically used in words. Let's go back to this video.
Yeah. Let's learn some higher level words to describe these things. Biotic. These are all of the living organisms in an ecosystem. Things like bacteria, plants, and animals.
As you guys can tell, this is all the living stuff. Okay, so this is all the living things in an ecosystem.
Since these are all alive, they can also die or be dead. Abiotic means all of the other stuff that isn't, wasn't, and won't be alive. Things like rocks, dirt, light, warmth, and chemicals like oxygen, water, nitrogen, or carbon dioxide. Since these things haven't ever been alive, we don't call them dead. They can't die. We simply say they are non-living. Most of the time, it is really easy to tell whether something is alive or not, but sometimes it's more difficult. So we have come up with some specific characteristics to help us recognize if something is living or non-living. All living things are made up of cells. They can be single cells or big multicellular organisms like you, most animals, and most.
Okay, I think that's worthwhile to take notes for. So let's write living. Living things made up of cells.
Plants that you think of every day. Living organisms also use energy and expel waste.
Okay, use energy and expel waste. Does anyone know what kind of energy they use? For the most part, um, they do use chemical energy. So let's go ahead and put that in parentheses, chemical. Use energy and expels. Expels is a fancy word for get rid of. So to get rid of. So expels, let's go ahead and put that in parentheses, get rid of. Waste. Now, some of you might remember this word expel used in the sense like if someone misbehaves in school, they get expelled. Same concept. I guess the school gets rid of them. Okay. So it's the same concept. Let's go back to the video.
This can be in a multitude of ways, like eating or breathing. But keep in mind, not all organisms breathe oxygen like us. Plants and a lot of types of bacteria breathe in carbon dioxide. Another characteristic shared by all living organisms is that they grow and develop or change.
Okay. Grows and develops. Grows and develops or changes.
Even single cell amoebas grow and grow until they reproduce by dividing. Which leads us to our next characteristic. All living organisms reproduce and pass on their traits to the next generation.
Okay. So reproduces. Okay. Reproduces. For humans, how do we reproduce? How do humans reproduce? Well, for humans, we reproduce. We keep humans existing because we make babies. We make more babies. So, um, offspring reproduces offspring or babies.
There are a lot of different types of reproduction, but the goal is the same across the board to pass on the genes to the next group of offspring. The last characteristic is that all living organisms respond to their ecosystem.
Responds to the environment. Okay. Responds to the environment. Oops, put that in the wrong in the wrong place. Environment. Environment. Okay, environment. Response to the environment.
Most of the time in an ecosystem, we just focus on the living things there because that's generally what's moving, growing, changing, responding, and eating. But a lot of times, the non living factors can play a huge role in shaping and affecting the future of the living factors. Things like sunlight can affect plants in huge ways. But these non living factors can also affect animals. Let's take a look at our pet lizard. He lives in a terrarium. Let's pick out all of the non living factors in his ecosystem. He has a heat lamp. That's
Okay, so she's looking for all the non-living factors or all the non-living things in this ecosystem. I believe she mentioned the heat lamp right here in orange and green. That's non-living. It was never alive. It's never gonna be alive. Um, let's see. Can you see any other non-living things? Okay. Let's go ahead and keep playing the video.
Alive. He has sand, rocks, water, and his cave. Now, let's look for all of our living things.
Okay. Very good. So she says she set the lamp, she set the water, she set the sand, the rocks, the cave. One thing she didn't mention is the bowl where the water is being contained. I don't remember her saying anything about that. Okay, so now she's looking for living things or the biotic things. Remember, we just looked at the non-living things or abiotic. Now we are looking for biotic. Let's see how many you can find.
We obviously have our lizard, but we also have all the crickets that he eats and the branch he crawls on. I know the branch is tricky, but it came from a tree, and while it's dead now, that means it was living.
Okay, perfect. I'm glad she said that because, as you guys probably remember, that is a common mistake, right? Lots of kids or lots of people will say, "Oh, the branch or the piece of wood," and no, unfortunately, those were living at some point. Wood comes from trees, and trees are
And
living.
is thus a living factor. Now, let's take a look at a larger ecosystem. Let's look at a pond. This environment has a lot of non living factors like pond water, mud, sunlight, rocks, all of the chemicals in different parts of air like oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and these things greatly affect the living organisms here. These water lilies have evolved and changed to have thick floating leaves to move on top of the water to get more sunlight. But living organisms also interact with each other, like when insects use the lily pads to lay their eggs close enough to the water. Living factors and non living factors interact and change how all of the living organisms in an ecosystem live and survive.
Okay, so just to repeat what she said, all she is saying is that living things and non-living things interact or help each other survive. Okay, now we see that every day, and we probably don't even think about it, but we're doing it, and that's the concept that she wants you to understand. It's an important concept that living things need non-living things to survive. Like for instance, us humans, we just love water. We can't live without the stuff, right? And water is non-living or abiotic.
Now, let's check out a question.
All right, guys. So we're now on the question section. Let's see what we have here. I'll read the question. I'll do one, and I hope that you guys get motivated to go on and do this on your own. Remember, this is living in and surviving. It's called ecosystems. It's on Education Galaxy. If you don't remember your password, text me, and I will send you your login information privately through text. Okay, so that I'm not gonna send those in a group text. Let's read the question. It says, and let me go ahead and put the marker thing here. Okay, it says blue whales are baleen. I'm sorry, no, it does say that. Okay, blue whales are baleen whales. They use their comb-like teeth to catch and eat many microorganisms like krill. California is a common tourist destination for blue whale watching tours. Okay, here's the problem. All right, so let's go ahead and write this out. Okay, here is the scenario. Ooh, I don't know about this thickness of this marker. I'm not really too happy with this thickness. Oh well, I guess I'm gonna have to make do. Scenario. Oh, I misspelled it. Uh-oh, it won't let me erase. I'm having trouble. Okay, let me try again. There it is. Will it work now? I hope so. Yes, scenario. All right, guys. Here we have a scenario. What gives you kind of like the context. Okay, in other words, the context. Here we have a picture or diagram. Picture. Okay, pictures are important in science. Okay, we want to pay close attention to details. Okay, here's a blue whale. Here's the krill. I know it's krill from my context clues here. This is also known as a text feature, right? This picture is a text feature. The question is over here and the choices. So we have all four components of a good science question present. We have the scenario, that's one. The picture, that's two. The question, that's three. Oh, look, I couldn't write the whole thing out. The question, that's three. And then the choices, that's four. Okay. So let's go ahead and read the question. It says, which of these observations describes the blue whale interacting with non-living elements? Okay. Non-living elements in its environment. Okay. So what we're looking for is which of these observations describes, so which are the observations? These right here. Okay. Let me get rid of that because I'm probably going to have to use the process of elimination. So I want to keep that available. So the blue whale interacting, that's kind of like the bridge. So blue whale interacting with non-living elements. Okay, let's read the options. Okay, it says the blue whale is the largest animal to ever live on Earth, and it eats krill, which is one of the smallest animals. Okay, largest animal. Okay, let me see. Animal that's living to ever live on Earth. Okay, Earth eats krill, which is one of the smallest animals. Okay, smallest animals. All right, so let's analyze this option here. It says the blue whale is the largest animal to ever live on Earth. Okay, it's giving us information, and it eats krill. So there's the interaction. You have blue whale eating krill. Let me erase that and make it a little bit more clear. Okay. So we have blue whale right here eats krill. So the interaction is eating with the other krill. Now, krill are right here, and the blue whale is right here, and both are living. So this is the way I'll do it. I'm just gonna put L for living, and L and I. So LIL, which means living interacting with living, and we're looking for living interacting with non-living. Okay, so that one, most likely it is not the case. Female blue whales live in large pods with their offspring. Blue whales live in large pods. Did we read anything about pods? Okay, because that might be a little unfair to throw that at you all of a sudden. I don't see it. But it says the blue whale, I'm sorry, female blue whales. So here's the one, here's living. Lives in large pods with their offspring. Okay, and here's living. Lives in large pods. So they interact in large pods. Okay, so this is the interaction over here. Guessing pods is like a group. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna have to look that up. But from what I can tell, this is living interacting with living. Probably not what we're looking for. The next one is the blue whale comes up to the surface of the water to breathe air every hour. Okay, so here's living. comes up to the surface of the water to breathe. Okay, so breathe the air. Okay, and this is non-living. We know that that's non-living. NL. Let me put that over here. NL. Well, I don't have room to write NL over here, guys. Let me erase that. I'll write it again. So interacting with non-living. I know that's kind of hard to read. Let me separate it with commas. Okay, so basically what we have here is we have living interacting with non-living. And here we've just found that the blue whale living is breathing. So interaction, here's the interaction. Air every hour, non-living. Okay, so this one looks promising. I'll put a question mark on it. Let's go to the next one. Here it is, blue whales. That might be my living. Since I've already gone through 3 of these, and I'm starting to kind of understand that they're just going to focus on the blue whales. They're not going to throw many other different types of living creatures at me. Blue whales use a series of vocalizations to socialize with other blue whales. Okay, so here it is, living. And it use a series of vocalizations to socialize. Okay, vocalizations, in other words, are kind of like singing. Okay, so singing to socialize. So here's the interaction. Okay, so vocalizations to socialize. So living, social, are interacting with living. Okay, so I'm pretty so I'm sure that's not the one. So I'm pretty good. I'm pretty what is the word I'm looking for? I'm pretty sure it's a safe assumption that my correct answer, the answer I'm looking for is C. So let's go ahead and give it a try, okay? And if I get it wrong, oh well, only the whole world can see it. And C. Hooray! All right, guys. So that was number 1. Oh, was that just a practice question? Oh, okay. So it was just a practice question. So it wasn't number 1. The nice thing about this is that um you get to do all of them by yourselves. I'm going to go ahead and I want to try another one. It says problem. Which of the following is an example of an organism interacting with a non-living part of its environment? So we're looking for L again. We're looking for L, interacting or associating with N. Okay, this is a nice way to write it. With non-living part of its environment. Okay, human. What is that? Living or non-living? Rides, interaction, right here. Horseback. Don't worry about the back part. It's just horse, okay? So what you have here is L, I, L. And we're looking for L, I, and L. So I'm pretty sure that A is not the one, because we have a human rides interaction with a horse. Horseback is just a fancy way of saying is riding the horse. Let's go to the B. Okay, a bee. Okay, so a bee is, why isn't it writing? Okay, a bee is living, feeds. Okay, I believe that's the interaction, from flowers and pollinates the flowers. A bee feeds from flowers, that's living, and pollinates the flowers. Okay, here's interaction and living. Okay, so maybe a couple examples here. So I would say that's probably not the one, because flowers are living. So I see a good combination here of L-I-L-I-L. All right, a whale, that's living, swims, that's interaction, the surface of the ocean to breathe air. Okay, so this is swims the ocean, the surface of the ocean. That's NL. To breathe, interaction, air, non-living. Okay, it looks like C looks pretty good right now. Let's look at D. Okay, lobster, L, eats, interaction, seaweed, seaweed. All right, guys, this is living. So as you know, if you don't know something, the best thing we can do is open up a page and look for something. Okay, so we can look up for. Let's look up whale pod, whale pod, whale. Oopsie, whale pods. All right, let me see. That comes up. A pod is a social group of whales. The toothed whales travel in large, sometimes stable pods. Okay, so yeah, that's what they call a group of whales, pods. Let's look for seaweed. Seaweed. Okay, well, it's a plant. Okay, so seaweed is a plant. I knew that. I was just showing you how to find it. So what do you guys think? Sure seems like the answer is C, isn't it? Let me show you why. We have LIL, that's living, interacting with living. We are looking for, boy, we are looking for that one right there. Not the perfect place to write on, huh? We are looking for LINL. Okay, so here, B, so it's definitely not A. Let's look at B, LILIL. It's definitely not B. Look at C, LINLINL. Ooh, that one looks nice. And then look at D, LIL. So pretty sure it's going to be C. Oh, I thought I had it wrong for a second, guys. Wow, that one. Oh, that scared me. All right, let's see. I get to play one game. You guys get to watch me mess up. That's it if I can play it. Okay, there it is. What am I supposed to do here? Oh, that was terrible. All right, guys. You guys do the rest, okay? Uh, make sure you look over your notes, and I will keep giving you more information on ecosystems during this week. See you later, guys.